So we all have these big goals, right? Things we really want to achieve. But every single day, it feels like there's this battle between the path that gets us there and, the constant buzz of distraction. So how do you actually win that fight? Well, the answer isn't about finding more motivation. It's about building something way, way more powerful. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got the project lined up, the workout clothes are ready, the whole plan is there, but you tell yourself, I'll start when I feel inspired, or I'll do it when I'm more rested. You're waiting for that perfect moment to magically show up. But what if that perfect moment is just a myth? What if waiting for it is the biggest trap of them all? And this, right here, this gets straight to the heart of it. It's not about waiting around for a feeling, it's about building a foundation. Motivation is that initial spark. It's super exciting for sure, but it's a totally fickle friend. It vanishes the second the work gets hard. Discipline, on the other hand, is the bedrock. It's what shows up every single day, rain or shine, no questions asked. And that's the whole problem right there. We call it the motivation trap. When we wait for motivation to strike, we're basically handing over control of our lives. We're just sitting around, hoping for some lightning bolt of inspiration to come down and do the heavy lifting for us. But real, consistent progress, it just doesn't work like that. It needs something far more reliable. Okay, so this brings us to the core of this whole explainer, the big showdown. In one corner, you've got the totally unreliable feeling of the motivation trap. And in the other, you have the steady, unstoppable power of a discipline system. So let's really break down the difference. I mean, this chart just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? Just look at that first row. Motivation is only the spark that gets you to start. But discipline? That's the engine that keeps you going. Motivation is all about feeling. It's constantly asking, do I feel like it right now? Discipline doesn't care about feelings. It just asks one simple question. Does this need to be done? One is fleeting, the other is consistent. It's a no-brainer. And let's get something straight about what we mean by discipline. This isn't about punishment or gritting your teeth and forcing yourself through misery. Not at all. It's a skill. Seriously, think of it like training a muscle at the gym. It's the ability to make your actions line up with your long-term goals, even when your short-term mood is screaming, let's just go watch Netflix instead. All right, so if we're going to build this skill of discipline, we have to identify its number one enemy. And it's not just some vague lack of willpower. No, it's an all-out war, a war against distraction. Just think about it for a second. Our modern world has basically trained our brains to crave distraction. Every little ping, every notification, every quick check of our email gives us a tiny, satisfying hit of dopamine. But this dependency on distraction makes deep, meaningful focus pretty much impossible. If you want to make real progress, you have to break that cycle. So what's the actual cost of all this? Well, a study from the University of California found that the average person doing knowledge work loses 2.1 hours every single day to digital distractions. That is not a few minutes here and there. That's more than 10 hours a week. A full workday just gone. Vanished into a black hole of notifications and context switching. But honestly, the damage is even deeper than just the lost time. That same study found that after just one tiny interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully get your focus back to where it was. So that quick glance at your phone, it's not a 30-second problem. It's a 23-minute cognitive nuke that absolutely shatters your momentum and keeps your work stuck in the shallow end. And this slide right here perfectly illustrates the cost. The author Cal Newport talks about two kinds of work. There's shallow work. That's the stuff we do while we're distracted, right? Answering emails, scrolling through feeds. It's low value, anybody can do it. But then there's deep work. That's where the real magic happens. It's that distraction-free concentration that pushes our skills and creates something genuinely valuable. The problem? All those distractions are trapping us in the shallow end of the pool. Okay, so we've identified the enemy. We get what's at stake. Now for the good part. How do we actually fight back? This next section is your practical toolkit, your arsenal for winning the war on distraction. We're officially moving from the what to the how. First up, the Pomodoro technique. Now, this is so simple, but don't let that fool you. It is incredibly powerful. You just work in these focused 25-minute sprints, they're called Pomodoros, and then you take a short break. This method literally trains your brain to focus in these short, manageable bursts. It makes huge tasks feel way less intimidating and helps you build up the resistance to get distracted. Next is a bit of a mental reframe called discomfort training. Think about it. Our natural instinct when we face a really hard task is to run away to something easy and comfortable, like scrolling social media. The goal here is to do the exact opposite. You intentionally push into that uncomfortable feeling, even if it's just for 5 minutes. You're training yourself, showing yourself that the discomfort won't actually break you. You're building that crucial mental muscle for discipline. All right, this one's huge. You have to master your environment. We have to stop using what's called the any benefit approach, where we justify keeping every app and website because it has some potential upside. Instead, we need to adopt the craftsman approach. Ask yourself this: does this tool provide a substantial positive impact on a core goal in my life? If the answer is no, get rid of it. Try a 30-day digital declutter. And maybe the most important thing of all, make offline your default setting. Now, our final tool is mindfulness. And this isn't just about relaxation, okay? It's a full-on workout for your attention. The practice is simple. You just try to focus on your breath. And when your mind wanders off to some distraction, which it absolutely will, like every 3 seconds, your only job is to gently notice and guide it back. See, every single time you do that, you're strengthening the exact mental muscle you need to pull your focus away from a pop-up notification and back to your deep work. So we have the tools now, but how do we actually tie them all together into a practice that, lasts? Well, this leads us to what might be the most important concept of all. It's not just about what you want to achieve, it's about the process you follow to get there. The author James Clear uses this brilliant metaphor. Think of your goal as the rudder on a rowboat. It's super important, right? Because it sets your direction. Without a rudder, you'd just be spinning around in circles. It tells you where you're headed. But here's the thing. The rudder alone doesn't create any movement. For that, you need the oars. The oars are your system, your daily habits, your routines, your process. This is the act of rowing. This is what actually creates progress and pushes the boat through the water toward your goal. And so the crucial point is this. A goal without a system is just a wish. It's a daydream. You can hold that rudder pointed toward your destination all day long. But if you're not rowing, if you're not actually executing your system, you are going to stay exactly where you are, period. So how do you build that system? Well, here are 3 ways to start. First, schedule your day. Use a method called time blocking to be really intentional about where your focus is going. Second, you have to ruthlessly eliminate competing goals. You can't row in 5 directions at once. Pick your number 1 goal and prune the rest. And third, stack your habits. Link a new action you want to do to a routine you already have. Something like, after I brew my morning coffee, I will immediately plan my pomodoros for the day. And this is why all of this matters so much. As Cal New points out, the very skill we've been talking about, this ability to shut out distraction and just focus deeply, is becoming both rarer and more valuable at the exact same time. While pretty much everyone else is stuck in that shallow end, building the discipline for deep work gives you a massive advantage. So that brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. Don't wait for the feeling. Don't fall back into the motivation trap. Look at the tools we just covered and think about the systems you can create. What is one small, repeatable process you can build today that will start rowing your boat forward tomorrow, whether you feel like it or not?